Well, congratulations to all of you. It would seem that most of you survived the end of the world on Friday. Most of you, I think. Now, in case you missed it, there's been a lot of hoopla lately surrounding an ancient Mayan calendar, which we have pictured on the screen for you. This calendar, if you don't know, sort of ran out Friday morning around 2 in the morning. And it led many people to speculate that the ancient Mayans knew full well that the world was going to end on Friday, December 21st, 2012. Apparently not. Which brings me back to, I think, the most plausible explanation for the abrupt ending of this ancient Mayan calendar. That's the most plausible explanation, I think. But, I have to admit, I got caught up in the end of the world hoopla here. And honestly, I've been nervous lately, because do you know what signified to me that possibly we are facing the end of life as we know it? Twinkies going out of business. Ancient Mayan calendars, Twinkies. Coincidence? I think not. But in all seriousness, around the globe, there's a lot of worries these days, and not just from paranoid doomsdayers. Universally, it seems that we're seeing lots of cosmic disturbances, and it's got a lot of people asking the question, what in the world is going on? And so let me quickly bullet point for you just a couple examples of the kind of cosmic disturbances that we're seeing that are making people nervous. Solar flares, for instance. Increasing solar flare activity and intensity has scientists modeling just various, catastrophic scenarios, the impact of one of these huge solar flares on planet Earth. Asteroids have a lot of people worried. They're passing uncomfortably close by our planet, and some are even approaching our planet undetected. I don't know if you know that. Just a couple weeks ago, there was an asteroid that nobody even really noticed until it would have been too late to do anything about it had it been on a collision course with planet Earth. And so scientific agencies and even amateurs around the world have increased surveillance because of the worry of this cosmic disturbance of asteroids. Of course, global warming is a cosmic disturbance, and though it's hotly debated, there can be no doubt in our minds around here that we're in a severe drought. Right? We know that one, don't we? Scientists are saying that this drought is already rivaling the Great Dust Bowl of the 30s. We've seen an increase in devastating hurricanes like Katrina and then just Sandy just recently. Tsunamis like the one that hit Indonesia a couple years ago and then Japan just recently. We've seen an increase in earthquakes. Strong earthquakes, I should say, measuring 8.0 magnitude or even greater, have been increasing in frequency lately. Volcanic activity. Do you know there's about 20 volcanoes erupting on planet Earth right now? Give or take 21, and probably most noticeably one in Russia and one in Ecuador. And so on and so forth. There's just cosmic disturbances that are taking place. And, all the hoopla about, unfounded fears such as the Mayan calendar aside, there are legitimate cosmic disturbances that have a lot of people, scientists and, fanatics alike saying, what in the world is going on? And that's not to mention other kinds of distressing events. Political upheavals. We're seeing civil wars. We're seeing countries that are teetering on the brink of war. We're seeing a global economy that's teetering on the brink of collapse, and closer to home, an increase in things like random shootings. A Denver shopping mall, an Oregon shopping mall, a Denver movie theater, and of course recently Connecticut elementary school. And so there's a lot of disturbing cosmic events, so to speak, that are going on. And again, a lot of people are asking the question, what in the world is going on? This is just crazy. This is just crazy. Has anyone found themselves saying that in the past week or so? It's crazy right now. Well, that very question actually connects us this morning to the familiar story of the birth of Jesus in Luke 2, believe it or not. Let's pick up Luke 2, verse 1. It says, Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod, and about that time some wise men from eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem asking, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we have come to worship him." Now, it's easy for us to gloss over these pretty familiar words without pausing to think that for these wise men, for these ancient astronomers who would have spent their entire lives studying the night skies, the appearance of this unusual luminary in the night, this unusual star itself, would have for them been a very disturbing cosmic event. A bright light appearing in the sky, it would be for us too. If we all of a sudden saw there's a big, gigantic, bright light in the sky that's never been there before, and it's not moving, it's not a 747, it's not swamp gas, it's not a weather balloon, right? We would be disturbed. It's no less true in ancient times that this bright light in the sky that had never been there before was frightening. And for the ancients, even, portentous. It was telling of something bad going down. It was crazy. And so that unfamiliar night sky, this is the point, for the ancients would have read like the morning news for us. What in the world is going on? Fire up the generator, head for the bunker. Something bad is going down. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, those are the times we live in as well. Well, it leads to a very important question that we need to ask this morning. So how did the wise men then get from this, disturbing cosmic event to the words that we just read where they're asking, where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we've come to worship him. And then even later in verse 10, we're told that once they found the place where this newborn king was in a manger, we're told that they were filled with joy. And so how is it that the wise men got from fear to joy? Fear of the crazy things that were going on in the world to joy in that very same world, because that's an important question for us. How do we connect the dots? How do we make a journey from fear of the crazy things that are going on in the world to joy in this very same world? Well, with regard to the wise men, we're actually never told in the Bible exactly how they connected the dots between this strange cosmic upheaval and a newborn king in a manger. But there's realistically only two options. Either God himself revealed to the wise men the significance of what was happening in the universe, or the other option, and the only other option realistically, is that the wise men searched the Word of God and found in the Word of God a roadmap by which they gained perspective on this disturbing thing that was going on, and by which they navigated a journey from fear to joy. See, there is a prophecy, by the way, in the Word of God, which would have connected the dots for the wise men between this cosmic event, an eastern star, and a future divine king. And we see that in Numbers 24. They would have read these words. This is the message of Balaam, son of Beor, the message of the man whose eyes see clearly, the message of one who hears the words of God, the revelation of God, and who has knowledge from the Most High, who sees a vision from the Almighty, who bows down with eyes wide open. And this is what Balaam saw. I see him. I see God. I see him, but not here and now. I perceive him. But far in the distant future, a star will rise from Jacob, another name for Israel. A star will rise from Jacob, and a scepter will emerge from Israel. And so there it is in the Word of God, an eastern star leading to a divine scepter. And then further studies about the prophecies regarding the Messiah in the Word of God would have mapped out then for the wise men a whole series of dots leading from this star, this cosmic disturbance, to a divine king in a manger. Well, is that exactly how it happened? We don't know. We're never told how the wise men connected the dots. But whether it was by the spoken word of God to them directly, or whether it was by the revealed word of God, the word of God put into perspective for them what was going on in the world. The word of God, the revealed word of God, pointed them to King Jesus. The Word of God, the revealed Word of God, mapped out for them their journey from fear to joy. And so here is the simple point of connection for us this morning, church. The disconcerting cosmic disturbances of our time are still pointing to King Jesus. They're still pointing to King Jesus. And so, even still, the journey for us this morning, the journey from fear in life to joy in life, is a journey that can only be mapped out by the Word of God, by the revealed will of God, revealed to us in the Son of God. And so I just want to say to you, if you found yourself wondering recently, what in the world is going on? If you found yourself feeling distressed and fearful, trying to figure out, where you can hunker down, where you can bunker down to ride out all the crazy stuff that's going on. There are wise men that are speaking to you this morning. And they're saying to you, there's a map that puts it all in perspective. There's a road map by which you can navigate your life from fear to joy. And that map is the road map of the Word of God revealed in the Son of God. And so my challenge to you as we finish up a year, as we're heading into a new year, I want to challenge each of you to make a concerted, diligent effort to consult the map. Consult the map to put it all into perspective, to figure out how to keep navigating your way out of fear and into joy. Consult the map. And more importantly than just consulting the map, base your life on the revealed Word of God. Don't just consult it, but base your life on it. Because whether you're conscious of it or not, you are following a map of some sort. You are following some sort of map. There is something that you're referencing to make sense of the world, to make sense of what's going on, and by which you're trying to navigate all the various things that are going on. And most people, I believe, are trying to navigate life by a map which reads at the top, well, this is what I think. Most people are. And I'm not just talking about people out there, okay? I think that a lot of us are guilty of just navigating life, not by the map, but by a map of our own device, which reads, well, this is what I think. You might be one of those people, and if that's you, this is what I want to challenge you to this morning, that, this roadmap of the Word of God, does not claim to be just a bunch of good ideas. It does not claim for itself to be any good ideas. Hold that thought. Where's it going with that? This book does not claim for itself to be a collection of writings of various authors who say, well, this is what I think. This book, this roadmap, claims for itself to be the Word of God. The perspective of God, which is a pretty good perspective on what is going on. And if it's right in that claim, then doesn't it make way more sense to follow God's map, which has successfully navigated millions of people for thousands of years from fear to joy? Doesn't it make way more sense to navigate your life by this map than the map you may be using in your life that says, I don't know, I'm just sort of making this up as I go? It does. It makes more sense. And so wise men are still speaking to us this morning, and they're saying there is a roadmap that will get you from fear to joy, and that is the roadmap of the Word of God revealed in the Son of God. Entrust your life to this map. It's the only map that makes sense of the crazy cosmic disturbances that are taking place in our world. Well, there's a second truth that the wise men are speaking to us this morning from their example and from their experience. And that truth is this, that following the map will not be easy. Following the map will not be easy. The journey from fear to joy for the wise men, it took some effort. It was inconvenient. It was met by opposition. Well, where do we see that in the passage? Well, first of all, by implication in what we read just a moment ago. These wise men traveled from the east to get to Jerusalem, right? Now, if you go from Jerusalem east, you end up in either Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan or in China, from which you would have to cross the Himalayas to get to Jerusalem. So wherever they were from in the east, and again, we don't know, they were just from the east, it was a hard trip. It was a hard trip. It's a hard journey to travel west from anywhere east. And so the wise men, to have persevered in this rugged journey, they had to be convinced, this map is right. This map is worth following. This map is worth the difficulties and the pain and the inconveniences that we're experiencing right now. And as a result of just being convinced in their heart of hearts, this is worth it. This is right. They braved rugged, mountainous terrain and scorching desert suns and freezing cold nights just to follow the map. And so the wise person here this morning will follow the map, knowing full well it's not going to be an easy journey. Just telling you right now, it's not going to be an easy journey. Doing life God's way will call you off the comforts of couch living on a journey that's going to change who you are and change what's important to you. It's not going to be an easy journey. If you want to live a life of ease, don't follow this map. Don't follow the map. If you'd rather have cheap frills and quick fixes, if you'd rather have that than lasting joy, that's a much easier trip. It really is. It's a short-lived trip. It's a short trip, but it's much easier. Don't follow the map if you just want cheap frills in life. But if you want lasting joy, there's only one road map. There's only one road map that will get you from fear to joy, but it's not an easy journey. You just have to keep that in mind. If we pick up back in verse 3 of the familiar story, we get a different picture of why following the map is going to be difficult. We're going to see that there'll be people who will oppose you following the map. Verse 3, King Herod was deeply disturbed when he heard this, when he heard what the wise men reported, as was everyone in Jerusalem. And he called a meeting of the leading priests and teachers of religious law and asked, "Where is the Messiah to be born?" "In Bethlehem in Judea," they said, "for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not least among the ruling cities of Judah, for a ruler will come from you who will be the shepherd for my people Israel." And then Herod called for a private meeting with the wise men, and he learned from them the time when the star first appeared, and then he told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child, and when you find him, come back and tell me so that I can go and worship him too." And we know by go and worship him too, Herod meant kill him, right? That's what he actually meant. Herod had no interest in the map. He had no interest in what God had to say. He had no interest in following God's plan for how to live his life. In fact, Herod, we're told, was disturbed about God's plan. And he was disturbed that God's plan messed with his plans. And so he opposed God. He used the wise men and really tried to get the wise men off base, off course, off the journey that they were on. And so the simple point that the wise men are still speaking to us this morning is this, that if you follow the map, you might expect some opposition. You might expect that there will be those in your life who really aren't interested in God's plan in their lives. And they will oppose God's plan in their lives, and they will be disturbed by you following God's plan in your life. And they may even then devise ways to get you off the path, get you off the journey that you're on. But the wise person here this morning will follow the map, knowing full well that doing life God's way, will call you to oppose the voices of those around you, oppose the voices of culture, to swim against the currents of culture and the opposition of others. It's not an easy journey following the map of God's revealed will, but it is the only map from fear to joy. It's the only map for fear to joy. And so if you're finding yourself just distressed by what's going on in our world, follow the map, but know this, it won't be easy. I wish I could tell you otherwise, but it's not true. All right, there's just a third simple truth that we learn from the wise men in verses 9 through 11. We're told this, that after this interview with Herod, the wise men went their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was. And when they saw the star, they were filled with joy. There's the joy part. They're now in Bethlehem, where the child was born. They entered the house and saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. And then they opened their treasure chests and gave him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And here's the very simple truth for us this morning, that the wise life today is still the life that is bowed down before Jesus as King. That is the wise life, even still today. The life, the heart that makes the journey from filled with fear to filled with joy. The heart that makes that journey is the heart that is bowed down at the feet of Jesus, and the heart that opens up all of its treasures, all of who it is, all of what it holds dearly within. It opens it up and spills it out at the feet of King Jesus. That is the wise life. It is still the wise life. A life of joy is the life of yielded worship at Jesus' feet. So there are, as we all know, cosmic disturbances appearing in the night skies of our times, just much as it appeared in the night skies in the times of the wise men. And for many, as it was then, for many of us now, it's frightening to see what's going on. But the simple truth I want to say to you this morning is there's a map from fear to joy. Joy in this very same frightening world that we're living in. And it's a map that can give you perspective on the scary things that are going on. It's a map that's admittedly not going to be easy to follow, but it's a map that can get you from fear to joy because it's pointing to King Jesus. And the place of true lasting joy is the place of surrendered worship at the feet of Jesus. The thought I want to leave with you this Christmas season. Let's stand.